Howdy and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Today we're going to be looking at another kit supplied to us on loan from Tommy Anderson of Coyote Mountain Film Productions. I'll put a link in the description to his channel, and he's been gracious enough to loan me this copy of the Monogram Blue Thunder Helicopter. So this is a 1984 release in 1/32 scale. Kit number is 6036. And the box art is done by a gentleman by the name of Larry Elmore. He didn't do a lot of stuff for Monogram, as I can see. He did do some of their Masters of the Universe boxes for their kits. And he was very prolific in a lot of fantasy and sci-fi productions. So this is kind of a pretty dramatic box art, especially for 1984. So this is coming off of the 70s. We don't want to see violence and death and destruction. And here you've got the Blue Thunder helicopter flying over this, I guess, bad guy's hideout or something. You got their truck on fire over here. You've got their house on fire. You got some guy looking like he's been shot. This guy's definitely been shot. Bullet strikes. I mean, this is about as dramatic a box art as you can get. This harkens back to some of the Aurora, the Fokker D7, that's on fire with the guy burning alive in the cockpit. So a surprising amount of violence on this box cover here. But sure, most of you who are watching this are probably pretty familiar with the Blue Thunder movie. You may not be aware that there was a Blue Thunder TV series as well. It's a mid-season replacement that only lasted 11 episodes. But the 1983 film was directed by John Badham, starred Roy Scheider, Warren Oates in one of his last films. He died before the movie came out. Candy Clark, Daniel Stern, and Malcolm McDowell. This TV series was in 1984, as I mentioned, ran for 11 episodes and starred James Ferrantino. It's a different character than the Roy Scheider one, but still called Frank. But a different last name. It also had Bubba Smith and Dick Budkiss that were following along in a Rolling Thunder, which was like a van that followed along with their exploits. And the Daniel Stern Joffo character was replaced by, of all people, Dana Carvey, pre-Saturday Night Live. So he was kind of the comic relief to the series. And I can just imagine the church lady flying around in the Blue Thunder helicopter. So the TV series was canceled at the end of the season due to low ratings. So the helicopter itself was converted from an Aerospatiale SA-341G Gazelle. There were serial numbers 1066 and 1075. They were built in 1973 by Aerospatiale. The design of how the Blue Thunder was going to look with all these added-on stuff was done by a gentleman by the name of Mickey Michaels. And the helicopter was flown in the movie by a gentleman by the name of Jim Gavin. The helicopters themselves, this was just a lot of bolt-on stuff. And of course, there was no functionality to any of these things. And it actually weighed down the helicopter considerably, so it ended up being very sluggish. So they had to use a lot of camera tricks to be able to kind of get the speed and agility that the helicopter was supposed to have, but the real one didn't. They also built a third one that was kind of like the hero version. It was a ground static helicopter that had all the detail stuff inside for the close-up filming. So that had the movable parts and all the lights and screens and all that kind of stuff. And that one actually ended up ultimately at the backlot at MGM in Florida for quite a number of years. You could be seen sitting out on the backlot there until it was finally disposed of. So the two flying ones, of course, it ended up getting used in the TV series, but most of the TV series used a lot of just stock footage from the original movie production. But it did end up, one of the helicopters ended up being used in the 1985 pilot for the MacGyver series, and so you can see it in that. They were also, both helicopters were used in the 1987 ABC miniseries called America with a K, which was about Soviet occupation of the United States. And then serial number 1066 was dismantled shortly after that and sold for parts. And not too long after that, 1075 was also scrapped in 1988. The static display one that was at the studio gradually deteriorated to the point where it was scrapped in 2009. So the helicopter itself was supposed to have a number of fictional features on it. It's supposed to have 1 inch of Nordock NATO armor, a 20 millimeter 6-barrel rotary cannon firing 4,000 rounds per minute right up here, which I'm not quite sure why there's the bulges, at the rear of the barrels there. There was twin cheek mounted night sun lights, which are those. Infrared thermograph, which I think was part of here, or maybe this here. Airborne TV camera with a 100:1 zoom, which also had night vision and videotape backup. There's an external audio pickup, which were these things up here, which featured prominently in the movie. It could be put into whisper mode, and where it was silent in flying. It also had turbo boost to get an extra kick of power, which is what Roy Scheider used to do the 360 loop to get on the tail of McDowell and shoot down his Hughes 500. It was fitted with the Harrison helmet for the Harrison fire control system, kind of similar to what the Apache helicopter has. That was named after one of the prop designers, the Harrison name. And it was supposed to be equipped with a helmet-controlled TADS and PNVS system for target acquisition and designator, pilot night vision system. So there you go. That's a little bit of quick history on this. If you've never seen the movie, I highly recommend watching it. It's pretty fun. Some pretty spectacular flying, especially when they get down in the LA riverbeds and flying underneath power lines, and I think they even go under a bridge at one point. So pretty good movie. So let's look at the kit here. So we've got this part here, so part of this background here, I think is part of the poster. And we already talked about this part here. We've got an assembled model kit. It's also written in French and molded in metallic blue, which is kind of different. Got multi-language information here. And on the side, here's your size, 32nd scale again. Trademark to Columbia. Yeah, here's part of the Blue Thunder poster again. And pictures of a built model. On the end, repeat of the box art. The kit number. Not sure what the stars represents. Behind the kit number. A little information about it. Multilingual again, 1984. And this end repeats. So let's see what we got inside the box. Have ourselves some instructions. A little history again. Paint call-outs, designators in the instructions, nice profile photograph. And typical of the 80s monogram kits, breaking up each individual step. Looks like a pretty complex rotor system here. Somewhat nicely detailed cockpit. And putting all that together, finishing up your rotor, and assembling the fuselage, and then the last bits and bobs. Looks like we got a shrouded engine there. Oh, there's more on the back too. Cockpit, you get this huge clear piece. Your microphone, sensors. There's your Gatling gun. Landing skids. They give you the little helmet to go inside there, which is kind of cool. And then all the decaling. Looks like they show you a few other decals along the way as well. So pretty complete instruction sheet. And we do have, here's the decals down here. With all the stripes and the warning placards, things like that on there. Minimal markings on this helicopter from the movie. There you go. And let's take a look at our fuselage. So you can see it's a really dark blue, has kind of a metallic-y sheen to it. I don't know if you can see that in the video or not. But it's not, you know, like Aurora metallic plastic. It's just real subtle in its metallic-y look. But what is interesting is this texture on here, which I'd never seen noticed before on the movie helicopter. But I'm guessing this is probably some sort of like, I don't know, radar absorbent stealth material or something they kind of applied to it to give it that look. You got pretty decently rendered engine exhaust. And the tail rotor is molded inside there. And let's get a little, see if we can do a test fit on our fuselage. There we go. So, not the best fit. Usually Monogram fits a little better than this. But it's not too bad, actually. But it's a pretty substantially sized helicopter here, as you can see, 32nd scale. But looks pretty good. Definitely looks good. Okay, and here's our clear piece. Big, giant clear piece there. Some side panels. I think those are for the head, for those night sun. This would need to be polished up a little bit again. But it is slightly raised panels, framing on there. So pretty good. And then with this one, we have our rotor blade. And I think this is part of the nose turret. There's the shroud. There's the little helmet there. Looks like the ammunition for the gun. There's the microphone, control column, rudder pedals. So pretty well detailed. And this tree here has, there's our cockpit. It's got some molded in detail there. Our back wall with soundproofing, some more panels. And there's a center column area there. Some more shrouds. There's our seats. Our pilot seats are not too bad. It's an instrument panel. Looks pretty good. So a lot of good little detail parts. And then landing skids. A pretty good kit here. And a few more shroud pieces here. Not sure what that is. Probably something from the interior. Another interior piece here. And looks like we got a third seat. And a little bit of tail parts. Another couple more seats here. So kind of a neat little kit, something a little different. Great kit to get if you're a Blue Thunder fan for sure. Unfortunately, this kit's pretty expensive nowadays because it was only issued for 1 year, or one issue of it. And if you're looking for the Monogram issue of this kit, it's getting a little pricey, but they are out there. So, as I mentioned, this was only one time issued by Monogram. There was an issue in 1989 from a company called Idea out of Korea, and it appears to be a just straight up copy of this kit. The Idea, and looking at their catalog, looks like they're ripping off all kinds of companies' kits. And they appear to have ripped this one off as well. So much so that they're using almost the identical artwork on here. They do a couple of changes, here and there on the box art, but the artwork is virtually identical. That same box was then issued through a company called Lex, which I can't find anything other than the fact that they also did a Airwolf kit as well, which appears to be another ripped off mold. And that was in the 90s. Then in 2001, Kitech, a Chinese company, again known for ripping off molds, did their version of it. They used, again, the box art on here, but they reversed it and put a photograph in the background. So they just kind of cut out the helicopter itself, the artwork for that, flipped it, and used a photograph behind it. There was a second issue with a slightly revised box, but basically the same look, sometime in the 2000s from Kitech as well. So that is it. There's been a couple other like small garage kit makes in 72nd scale, I believe. But if you're looking for the big kit for this, this Monogram is definitely the way to go. It looks like a pretty neat little kit. So that's it for today. If you've built one of these, tell us all about it. And of course, if you got one sitting on your shelf, take a picture and send that in. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and have yourself a great day.